In the previous video, I gave you a vague idea of the different kind of boats and how I categorize them and what I think is the best boat for a family man that is also a beginner with an escape plan. Here I will get a little more on detail and show you how to read a data sheet and how I use this data sheet to narrow down the boats that I can find available online. Coming to review the data sheet, there is one website that comes always up and is Sailboat data. It seems to be the most common source for information about boats. I will write the link in the description here below. Sailboat data is probably one of the most complete databases available online that will explain all the information you need to have about a boat and allow you to understand all the sailboat's capabilities. So he sails into the rising sun, leaving behind what he's become. Freedom at sea, where the world feels wide. A captain of dreams with the moon as his guide. This is the Sailboat data website, and as I was saying, is probably one of the biggest databases available online to the public, and it owns about 11,000 boats data sheets and going back to around the 1800s. So good chances are you will find whatever boat you're looking for. This is actually the data sheet from Sailboat data. You can see on the top you have the images and the plans of the boat, so you can get a vague idea of what the boat actually looks like and the kind of hull it has. Then when you get under, you will see there is the first part, which is a description of the boat itself. The hull type is actually what the boat looks like under, so there might be a few different ones. In this case, the Catalina 270 is a fin with a speed rudder. Then the rigging type, which is actually how the sails are arranged, and in this case is a masthead sloop. Overall length and the waterline length. These are two things that make sense mostly technically. Let's say the length, obviously, the longer the boat, the more spacious it generally is, and that is where you find your categories. While the water length is what most of the times makes the speed, the maximum hull speed of the boat, because we'll see on later on the displacement kind of boats have a hull speed that is controlled by the length of the boat itself. Then obviously all the other data like the sail area, the beam, which is actually the width of the boat itself, the displacement, which is, let's say, to make it easy, the weight of the boat, and the ballast, which is actually the weight that is in the keel. So that part that counterbalances the weight of the mast. The max draft is how deep the boat is, so that gives you an idea on where you can actually sail and where not. And then obviously the fiberglass, the lead, which is actually the type of ballast, the material used for the weight in the keel, and all the basic data from the boatyard. So when it was built, when it was the last build, and the designer and the builder itself. Then there are some other informations. In this case, the accommodation, and it tells you how high is the cabin inside. The calculations is one part that I generally consider pretty much. Is the one that I look mostly, because it's the one that gives you a better idea of the performance of the boat itself when you come to sailing. So the first part is sail area to displacement ratio, and there you can see this 15.22. That is a
a number that gives you an idea of how much power is that boat receiving from the sail area compared to the weight of the boat itself. Then you have the ballast to displacement. And this is, let's say, the highest the number in this case, the more stable the boat is under sail. So the ballast is what keeps the boat straight up. So the more percentage is under the water, the more balanced the boat is, and the more able it is to withstand strong winds that might be tend to capsize it. The displacement to length is also a ratio that can help you understand what the maximum speed and let's say how stable the boat is. That is something that is you don't really look that much because let's say all the calculation is something that you're never going to do and just take on to an idea. The comfort ratio is gives you an idea of how comfortable is the boat to sail. Let's say 24.99 is not a crazy good one, but considering we're talking about a 27 footer, it's fairly good. So it's a fairly stable boat that you can be able to manage even in little bigger seas. So it's not a 35 ratio that you generally find in full keel boats that are extremely, let's say, heavy under the waterline, and they're built a little different. So they're boats that may be they're done more for offshore sailing. This is a good medium to consider. It's a 27 footer, fairly light sailboat. This is one that I look at the most, is the capsizing formula, and that is a fairly easy to understand. Let's say anything that is under 2 is considered fairly stable and able to manage blue water kind of weather, let's say in regular conditions. So 186 on a 27 footer with a fin keel is fairly good. And this is actually the reason why I'm evaluating this kind of boat. So it's pretty common, is fairly comfortable to sail offshore, and the capsize ratio is pretty nice. So it's fairly good considering the size and everything. The S number is actually something that you will not consider unless you're doing let's say club regattas, where boats on different lengths and different kinds just sail all together. There is a handicap system, and that is what actually the S number is. And if you're just cruising, it's nothing that you really care about.
The whole speed is actually the technical maximum speed of the boat that is determined by the waterline, calculated together with the weight and some other things. So this gives you an idea of how fast a boat can be. If you are a cruiser, the difference in the speed is going to be if you do really long passages, where even half a knot within days or weeks or months traveling can make your journey much shorter, let's say much faster to get to your destination.
So if you're curious about my journey from zero to hands-on sailing, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and don't forget to leave a comment down below.
The pounds for inch immersion is actually a number that indicates you how much you can load on the boat before the boat sinks down 1 inch. This means that for every 686 pounds in this specific case, the waterline of the boat will rise 1 inch. So it means that you're gonna have more wet area and the boat is going to be 1 inch lower on the water. This allows you to understand, obviously, what is the limit of the boat and how much equipment you can load on the boat.
Then you have all the rig and sail information. This is something that you might need the moment you have to do some repairs, especially if you have to do the standing rigging or you have to order the new sail. And then they're just the sailboat links, so there's nothing measuring the informations. So this is actually what a basic sailboat data sheets look like, and from this one you can get most of the information about that boat, at least the technical ones. Thank you for following me till the end of this video that to many people I guess can be pretty boring and very technical, but I promise that I was sharing the whole journey that I'm making and learning how to read a data sheet to understand exactly the kind of boat that I'm going to buy is something that I consider one of the basic starting steps in this journey. I understand that it can be boring, as I said before, seeing all this technical data and everything, but is what makes possible sometimes not to become part of the saying that says that the best 2 days in boat ownership is actually the day that you buy it and the day you sell it. When you know exactly what you're buying and what your expectations are, as long as you're motivated and your dream is true and you're not just buying a boat because you have to have one to make it look good, then I'm sure that you'll be happy with the boat you're buying, knowing exactly what you're going on. So thanks again for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and see you on the next video.